Hello, College of the Desert students. Wendy Ansley here, kinesiology professor. Today we have a well-rounded flow, and our theme is mental strength. Mental strength is actually a field in psychology. And mental strength, if we talked about a definition here, is the ability to improve your ability to regulate your emotions, manage your thoughts, and behave in a positive way, no matter what the circumstances. Because we know life is challenging day in and day out, not just in crisis. And the concept of mental strength is actually beautiful. We can train our brain to increase mental strength by devoting time and energy on self-improvement and tasks of self-improvement. Mental strength is a three-pronged approach. The first one is thoughts. Identify irrational thoughts and replace them with realistic thoughts. Thoughts is number one. The second one is behaviors. Behaving in a positive way no matter what the circumstances. And the third one is emotions. Control your emotions so your emotions don't control you. There's going to be days where our mental strength isn't where it should be, right? But just like yoga practice, everybody, we can practice mental strength. We can develop healthy habits. We can do internal work. We can focus and we can put forth effort. Mental strength. We can change our thoughts, our behaviors, and feelings. Here we are. We're going to start at the edge of our mats, guys. In Tadasana, either feet hip width apart, feet together. I like to have a little bit of space for my heels. As always, I have my props nearby, my blocks, and a strap. Tadasana, awaken those arches, spread those toes, gather the energy, awaken those legs too here. Gather that energy. Let's do 2 cleansing breaths here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. A little partial sun salutations here as we move from flexion, spinal flexion and extension here. Inhale, draw those arms up. Energy out the fingertips. Gaze up and look up. Cultivating mental strength. Exhale, we're going to swan dive down, do a little dynamic forward fold. Heel and toe, heel and toe. Beautiful. Inhale, halfway lift, either hands to the blocks, the shins, or the thighs. Feel the tailbone come out and back. Feel the crown of the head coming forward. On the exhale, find yourself into a little deeper forward fold. Try to stack the hips over the knees and the ankles. Breathe into the release of the backside body. Integrity of the breath. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Exhale, hands, heart center, just to continue this kind of mindful warm up. Inhale, gather that beautiful energy up, upward salute. Exhale, swan dive down, a little dynamic forward fold. Heel and toe, heel and toe. Inhale, halfway lift. Again, hands to the ground, the blocks, the shins, the thighs. Feel the tailbone come out and back. Draw the sternum and the chest forward and feel that crown of the head come forward. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper as we release the back side of the body. Come a little bit more to the midfoot. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, calming the mind. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Exhale, hands, heart centered. Let's take a moment and just set our intention for our practice. We talked about the meaning of mental strength, how we can daily practice, focus, put forth effort, change our thoughts, our behaviors, and our feelings, and live in a meaningful and beautiful way. Take a moment and lower your head to your fingertips. Perhaps offer this practice to a friend, a family member, someone that could use your thoughts, your intentions. And gently look up. Beautiful. Classical sun salutations as we continue to warm up and awaken our body as we explore low lunges, Anjaneyasana. Inhale, gather that beautiful energy up. If our shoulders are tight, we can keep them about shoulder width apart or draw those palms together. Exhale, we're going to swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. It becomes like a little dance here. On the exhale, we're framing the feet. We're stepping that right leg back in low lunge. Hands to the hips. Let's rock forward and back several times. Inhale, come into a little low lunge. Let's explore that side body as we clasp that right wrist and feel that opening of the right side body. We'll stay here several breaths. Inhale and exhale through the nose. Inhale and rise. Hands to the hips or frame the foot. We're gonna step back, hands framing the feet, step that left leg back, come into Phalakasana plank. The whole body is engaged in the plank. Shoulders over the wrists, draw the belly towards the spine, heels over the balls of the feet, engage the quadriceps, engage the shoulders, hips not too high, gazing forward and down. We'll stay here several breaths. Sometimes when I'm building strength in yoga, that just helps me with my mental strength, my ability to handle and navigate life challenges in a more hopeful way. Gently lower the knees. Ashtanga Pranam, knees, chest and chin. Keep those elbows close to the side. Feel the tailbone come out and back. Shoulder blades rooted against the upper back. So good for spinal mobility. Transitioning to easy cobra. Send those legs back, feet hip width apart. Press through the tops of the feet. Press through those palms. Notice the knees are off the ground. Feel those elbows and kind of inner ankles almost come towards one another as we awaken the lower back and open the chest. Find the breath. Stay here several breaths. Transition to all fours. Lead with the hips. We come into our first downward facing dog. Hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. Spread those fingers. And as we press into the palms, a little bit more in the index finger, the inner edges of the hands, feel the lengthening of the spine. Let's firm those thighs. Lift kind of those kneecaps here, engage those quadriceps and feel the release of the hamstrings. Low lunge on the right side. Draw the right knee to the chest and the nose. Round that upper back. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Hand to the hips. Let's rock forward and back. Beautiful. Inhale, low lunge. Let's clasp that left wrist and feel that release of the left side body. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot, back leg straight and engaged. Big step with the back foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come into our forward fold. Feel that release in the entire backside body, and allow that neck to be long here as well. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Exhale, hands heart-centered. And yoga is just such a beautiful way to cultivate mental strength. Inhale, gather that energy up. Upward salute. Gaze up and look up. Hope, confidence. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Framing the feet, we're going to step the left leg back this time, lowering the left knee towards the ground, hands to the hips, hands to the heart. We're a little bit more awake, so we're going to sink in our low lunge. Let's add a little spinal twist and warm up the spine here. Draw both elbows to the right here. Come into an open arm twist. Feel this release in the upper and the middle back. Either gaze to the side or deepen the twist as I gaze at my back hand. Beautiful. Hands to the heart. Got a little bit of sprinkles today, guys. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot. Step back into plank. Those sprinkles are symbolizing us just sprinkling, cultivating mental strength. So we can navigate life, reach our potential, manage our emotions. Stay here several breaths. Gently lower the knees, Ashtanga Pranam, as we explore knees, chest, and chin, all at the ground at the same time. Send those legs back. Come into easy cobra here. Press the tops of the feet, awaken the lower back, and lightly open the chest. On the exhale, lead with those hips, find our way into downward facing dog. As we press into the palms and press into the floor, we're continuing to lengthen the spine. Breathe into any stiffness and any pain. Integrity of the breath. It's okay to be audible with the breath. We call that the ocean breath. Draw the left knee to the chest and the nose for low lunge. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Hands to the hips. Hands to the heart. Let's sink a little bit lower. Come into this open arm twist here. Good. Sink a little bit lower. Feel that release of the back hip and that twist in the upper middle back. Either gaze to the side or gaze at the back hand. Gently draw the hands back to the heart. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot. Step the back leg to meet the front leg. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Fold a little bit deeper, guys. So good for that release of the backside body. Gently bend the knees. Swan dive up. Upward salute. Exhale, hands, heart center, just touching into the power of you, of mental strength. We all possess mental strength. We're going to step it about hip width apart here. Let's come into a little shoulder release and hamstring release in Uttanasana here. Interlace those fingers behind you and draw the shoulder blades towards the spine. I want you to broaden those collarbones. Inhale, create length. Exhale, come forward into our forward fold. Feel that release in the backside body. Imagine the hands, the knuckles coming a little bit closer towards the ground. Find the breath. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Inhale, belly towards the spine, back is flat, and rise. Beautiful. Let's explore a little forward fold with a bind, and I love this, Uttanasana with a bind, because it symbolizes the whole body coming together, body, mind, and spirit. Some of you may need a strap, and we can kind of keep that on the right side here. So feet hip width apart, Uttanasana, just do you, meet yourself where you are. Inhale, draw those arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Gently bend that left leg and place the left hand to the ground. Some of us are going to take the strap and have it kind of dangle, so we have it by the sacrum here. And we draw the left arm underneath, clasp the strap or clasp the fingertips and feel this bind. Kind of soften the shoulders and draw the heart towards the sky. We'll stay here several breaths. Inhaling and exhaling, truly being present. Release the bind. If you're utilizing the strap, we're going to keep it on the left side this time. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Hands heart-centered. Let's do a cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Continue to explore self-care here. Uttanasana with a bind. Inhale, draw those arms up. Upward salute, draw length in the spine. On the exhale, we're going to swan dive down. Gently bend that right leg, place the right hand towards the ground. If you're going to utilize the strap, you can. Take the hands kind of by the sacrum here. Feel it's a little bit of a twist and a bind here. Eventually draw that right arm underneath, clasping the strap or the fingers. Come into this bind. Soften the shoulders. Allow the bind to connect the body, mind, and spirit as you draw the heart towards the sky. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release the mind. Come back to forward fold. Gently bend the knees. We're going to swan dive up. Upward salute. Hands heart-centered. Beautiful. Tadasana at the top edge of our mat. We're going to come into a little wrist therapy. Let's do actually the feet together on this one. The feet are going to come together because we're going to explore a little bit more. Just as a reminder, you guys, like we talked about, daily habits, focus, breath, internal work, things that we're doing right now in yoga is a way to cultivate the mental strength that we all possess. Extend that right arm in front. So we're going to awaken those wrists. Take those middle fingers, dorsiflex the hands, draw those fingers towards us. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release. Extend that left arm, dorsiflex, that hand. Draw the middle fingers towards us. Good. Find our breath. And here we're working on wrist mobility, wrist flexibility, just to withstand some of the arm balances that we'll do in yoga, the chaturangas. as well as wrist health. Gently release, just Utkatasana, the fierce pose, engaging those quadriceps. We're going to explore another variation of this. We're going to draw those arms up, interlace those fingers, palms towards the sky. Shoulders are a little bit elevated here. And the arms are either alongside the ears or maybe behind the ears a little bit. Feet are together, belly towards the spine. On the exhale, we're gonna sink a little bit lower. I want you to gaze up too. Engage those quadriceps, draw length in the spine. We're gonna stay here several breaths, building strength. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, root into the ground. A little dynamic exploration here. On the exhale, we're drawing kind of the chest here on the thighs. On the inhale, we're rising. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Let's stay here several breaths. Engage those quadriceps. Sink lower. Gaze up. Stay here several breaths. Gently lower the glutes towards the ground. Another aspect for me of mental strength is I need to build physical strength and stamina. Navasana, yoga's ancient core exercise. We're going to explore Navasana and half boat. We're going to challenge ourselves here. Trying is doing, guys. The legs are bent, or we can straighten those legs. Energy out the fingers, energy out the toes. The spine is long and lifted. Imagine like you're holding a beach ball. Gaze up and look up. We're going to stay here several breaths. You can modify if you need to. Half boat. Gently lower the lower back to the ground. Notice my upper back and shoulders are off the ground. Legs are straight and engaged. I'm gazing at the toes here. Arms along the sides. Stay here several breaths. Core strength. Transition. Let's come back to Navasana. Inhale and lift. Find the breath. Find the balance. Energy out the fingers, energy out the toes. Exhale, lower. Glue that lower back, arms along the sides, upper back, shoulders off the ground. Stay here several breaths. Core strength. Navasana again, transition, legs straight. Find that balance. Lengthen the spine. Trying is doing. And gently, let's try to root and rise, lowering the legs here. Awesome. Cleansing breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Let's flow a little bit. Inhale, gather that energy up, upward salute. Exhale, swan dive down. Go with the flow. Inhale, halfway lift. On the exhale, frame the feet, step back into the plank. Either partial chaturanga, where you lower to the knees, or bend those elbows, draw the sternum and chest forward. Notice my shoulders in line with the elbows. Inhale, upwards dog. Press through the hands, press to the tops of the feet, thighs off the mat, broaden the collarbones, gaze up. Look up, find the breath. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet, downward facing dog. Good, press into those palms. Draw length in the spine, head in line with the arms. Firm those thighs. Maybe adjusting the gaze towards the navel. Try to get the heels a little closer towards the ground. Transition to warrior one. On the left side, draw the left knee, the chest, and the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Angle that back foot about 45 degrees. Draw those hands to the hips. Think about the front hip coming back, the back hip coming forward. Press outer edge of that back foot. Inhale, root to the four corners of the front foot. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep them shoulder width apart or draw those palms together, arms straight. Gaze up and look up. We'll stay here several breaths. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Cultivating strength. Sink lower. Hands to the hips, frame the foot. Step back into our plank. Let's find our vinyasa here. Either gently lower the knees or draw the sternum and chest forward, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Allow the pelvis to almost weigh you down. Tips of the shoulder blades come through the heart. Gaze up, look up. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet here. Downward dog, find the breath. Warrior 1 on the right side, draw the right knee, the chest and the nose. Place the right foot next to the right hand. Angle that back foot 45 degrees. Hands to the hips. Think about that right hip coming back. Back hip forward. Press outer edge of the back foot. Inhale, draw those arms up. Belly towards the spine. Gaze up and look up. Stay here several breaths. Sink a little bit lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink those hips lower. Beautiful. Transition, hands to the hips. Frame the foot. Step back into plank. Either modify lower the knees. On the exhale, keep those elbows close to the side. Chaturanga Dandasana. Elbows close to the side and tight. Inhale, upward dog. Press through the tops of the feet. Press through those palms. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's stay here 5 breaths. Push into the ground, draw length in the spine. Engaging those quadriceps, lower the heels towards the ground. Try to keep those heels in line with the pinky toes. Breathe into any stiffness, any pain. Continue to work on you. On the transition, we're gazing between the hands. We're going to shorten the dog here. Walk the feet forward. And try to kind of play around with this. Getting the shoulders past the wrists. This is just one of my favorite drills I like to do. I always do handstand drills just to cultivate body awareness. So the shoulders past the wrists. This is where I'm drawing that right femur head in and I'm doing a forearm tap, right foot to the right elbow, left foot to the left elbow, and I'm just gonna continue building that core strength, core and hip connection, body awareness, right foot to the right elbow, left foot. Let's do 6 more. Four more. 2 more. And gently release. Let's come into a little bit of a forward fold here. Gently bend the knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Gaze up and look up. Exhale, hands heart-centered. Beautiful. Here we are better together, guys, coming to the center of our mat here. Let's do a cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Goddess pose. We're going to step it a little bit wider here. The goddess or horse pose. Heels are in and toes are out, and the knees are going to go directly over the toes here. This is an external rotation. We're building a bunch of strength here in the legs. Draw the belly towards the spine and think of the tailbone coming down. On the exhale, sink a little bit lower. I like to have my kind of hands inside the knees to kind of press those knees back. Broaden the shoulders. And again, building lower body strength. Find something, your drishti, that's your gaze. To gaze in front here. We'll stay here several breaths. Building strength. Try not to slump over with the spine. Find the breath. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Inhale and rise. Cleansing breath together. Inhale. Exhale. Goddess pose again. This time we're going to add a little releve up if we can. Strengthen the toes, especially the big toes, the big toe mobility. Belly towards the spine, tailbone down. On the exhale, sink lower. Hands inside those knees. Let's releve up here. Strengthening the big toe mobility, finding balance. Engaging all those muscles of the lower body. Gently lower those heels. Woo! Pigeon toe, the big toes in for our Prasarita stance here. Beautiful arms by the sides, shoulders away from those ears. As I mirror you here, let's take your right hand, draw the thumb towards you. I'm going to clasp above the elbow. I'm going to take my right hand to the left elbow, shrug those shoulders. Inhale, create length, a little shoulder release, hamstring release. Exhale, come forward. Good. Imagine drawing the head between those legs. We'll stay here several breaths. Imagine the sitting bones towards the sky. Inhale, back flat, belly towards the spine, root and rise. Gently release. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let's take the left hand, draw the thumb towards us, clasp above that left elbow. Roll those shoulders back. Take the left hand to the right elbow. It's a little shoulder opener and hamstring stretch here. Inhale, create length. Exhale, come forward. Beautiful, guys. Feel that connection. Feel that release in the back, side body, and the shoulders. Come a little bit more to the midfoot. Belly towards the spine, back flat, inhale, root and rise. Gently release. Hands to the lower back. Imagine those kind of elbows come towards one another. Broaden the collarbones. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward. Hands under the shoulders. Good. Let's deepen that hamstring stretch here. For some of us, if you can, walk those hands back in line with those heels and imagine pulling the head through the legs and the sitting bones towards the sky. Gently release, walk those hands back under the shoulders. We're going to explore Skandasana, half squat. As I mirror you here, you're going to quarter turn your left heel in. We're going to extend that right leg, so we're kind of doing this together in the center of the mat. There's many variations. We're going to meet ourselves where we are. We're going to have the hands towards the ground. Good. Rocking forward and back. Feeling a release of the adductors. Eventually, we're going to take that extended right leg, draw the heel down, toes up. Some of you will be able to lower that left heel in time. Elbow on the inside, good. I like to explore another variation in Skandasana. Point that foot and try to get my hips closer towards the ground. Try to keep the spine from slumping forward. This is so good for us. We'll stay here several breaths. Way to take care of you guys. Hands towards the ground. We're going to quarter turn Skandasana on the other side. Draw that right heel in. Toes out this direction. We're going to press outer edge of that extended left leg. We're rocking forward and back. We're meeting ourselves where we are. Think how good this is for ankle mobility too. Awakening the adductors. Good. Eventually we're going to Take that extended left leg, heel towards the ground, toes up. Draw those elbows on the inside when we can. Good. And eventually, if you're like me, you can get a little bit, another variation. Point that foot. Try to get those hips towards the ground. So good for opening those hips, the hamstrings, the adductors, ankle mobility, and good for the spine. Trying to get those hips closer to the ground. Got another variation here. You can use your hands on the ground to help you maneuver. But can we maneuver Skandasana without using our hands? Sink lower. We'll stay here, one breath cycle. And the other side. So here we are like Spider-Man. One breath cycle. Here we go. Spider-Man. Guys, this is actually really good for athletes too. One more. Transition, just try to maneuver your way back up to our 5-point star. Rotate the big toes in slightly. Cleansing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Proud of you guys. Heel toe it in. I love it. Okay. The next one is revolved foot to hand pose. Some of you might want to use a block on this variation. We're gonna add and build onto this. This will take us to our revolved low lunge here. I want to make sure that you can kind of see okay here too. Okay, we're gonna start with revolved hand to big toe standing posture. This is a balancing standing posture with a spinal twist. So it really challenges us, okay? We're gonna have to do us, but this is something for you guys to keep practicing. I'll show you a posture you guys can keep practicing or take yoga teacher training at College of the Desert. Here we are rooting through the 4 corners of this left foot. Let's place the right hand on the hip. Draw that right leg up. Once we can keep, this is a little twist here. Once we can keep that left leg engaged, can we clasp outer edge of that right foot, extend that right arm, and find this twist here? We'll stay here several breaths. You can even gaze at that back hand to deepen this pose. Find the breath, find the balance, find the twist. Poetry in motion. Let's move fluidity, gently bend that right leg. Step it back into high crescent Ashta Chandrasana. Guess what, guys? There's lunges in yoga. Inhale, draw those arms up. Back leg is straight and engaged. Come to the pinky toe side of that back leg, because we're going to internally rotate that back hip. Left hand on the hip, draw the belly towards the spine, making room for this twist here. On the exhale, draw that elbow and shoulder outside the knee. Again, that back leg is straight and engaged. If some of you guys have a difficult time, you can bend that leg, but we want to keep that back leg straight and engaged. Elbow and shoulder across the knee. Eventually, we can grow this, either hand to the block or to the ground, as we draw that arm over the head. Bicep towards the ear. Pinky towards the face here. Grow this twist. Find the breath. Left hand on the hip. Transition as we come up to standing crescent. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink those hips lower. Hand to the hips. Frame the foot, step back into plank. Transition to our vinyasa. Either gently lower the knees, partial chaturanga, or come into chaturanga. Upward dog. Broaden those collarbones. Open the chest, open the heart. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. Downward facing dog. Let's try to lower the heels a little bit closer towards the ground. Continue to draw length in the spine. Connection of the breath here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let's release those hamstrings. Gazing between the hands, let's mindfully walk the feet towards the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Tailbone out and back. Sternum and chest forward. Crown and head forward. Exhale, forward fold. Gently bend the knees. Swan dive up. Upward salute. Exhale, hands heart-centered. Cleansing breath here. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to work the other side. One beautiful thing is we've got a twist one direction, and then we have a twist the other direction. Yoga doesn't stay just linear. Yoga is the science of healthy living. Beautiful. Rooting through the four corners of the right foot. Left hand on the hip. Let's take the right hand across the shin. Eventually, when that right leg is straight and engaged, can we straighten this left leg and grow this twist? Eventually gazing at the back hand. Find the breath. Poetry in motion. Transition to high lunge. Gently bend that left leg. Step it back. Beautiful. High crescent lunge. Knee directly over the ankle. Come onto the ball of the back foot. Back leg straight engaged. Come onto the pinky toe side of the back foot. Take that right hand on the hip. Draw the belly towards the spine. Big inhale. On the exhale, place the elbow and shoulder outside of the knee. For many of us, we can lower the back knee towards the ground if that's a challenge. We can stay in this prayer twist. Or we can extend the hand towards the ground or towards the block. Grow this beautiful revolved Parvita Ashta Chandrasana. Draw the armpit towards the ear, pinky towards the face. Find the breath. On the transition, right hand to the hip, transition back to standing crescent moon. Beautiful, guys. Hands to the hips. Frame the foot. Step back into Phalakasana plank. Let's add a vinyasa. Elbows close to the side, chaturanga. Gaze forward and down. Inhale, upwards dog. Draw that pelvis forward. Gaze up, look up. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. That's so good just for your feet too to transition like this, guys. Find your downward facing dog. Root a little bit more in the index fingers, inner edges of the hand. As you wrap those triceps behind, draw length in the spine. Try not to dump in here. Engage those quadriceps. Feel that release in the entire backside body and find that ocean breath. Inhale, exhale through the nose. Gently lower to the knees. Good. I'm so proud of us, guys. We're going to start off in Dandasana. Dandasana, the seated staff pose. Let's have the legs together, outer edges of the feet towards one another. If you find yourself slumping back, this is where you might take Pause, get a little tiny bit of a pillow, even sit on a block or a smaller block. Some people kind of adjust their mat, roll it up a little bit. Something to sit on to help draw that pelvis forward so you're not slumping back. Danda. Danda means the staff, the spine. So here we are seated nice and tall. Roll those shoulders back. Good. Let's gaze forward and down. Root through the sitting bones. Draw length in the spine. We'll stay here several breaths. Breathing into you. Breathing into that mental strength that you each have. Mental strength builds upon resilience, helps you perform where you should perform, helps build upon confidence, inner peace. Butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana. We're going to draw the feet together. We're going to move forward. Again, this is we don't want you slumping back. That's the biggest mistake here. So maybe sit on a little pillow here, if that helps. Take the soles of the feet together. We're going to press those elbows inside the knee. We're opening the adductors and we're shifting forward here, feeling that release of the entire backside body here too. Really opening those adductors, the inner thighs, the inner groins. We'll stay here several breaths. Let's make the exhale a little longer than the inhale. Beautiful. Another variation of this, if any of you want to try, is to kind of press down on the knees. Continue to come forward with the spine, trying to get the knees towards the ground as we open those adductors. So good. This is an amazing hip opener. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently come back out. Here we are. We're going to come to kind of an all fours position as we explore Mandukasana, frog pose. So with Mandukasana, this is challenging. We'll just have to meet ourselves where we are. We're going to widen the knees. We want to keep the hips in line with the knees and the ankles in line with the knees as well. So if it's a challenge, we can kind of not come quite as wide, and we can kind of keep the feet, we can adjust them a little bit where we are. But eventually we get the inner ankles, the inner arches towards the ground. Good. And it's okay to let's pulse forward and back. So think of the tailbone coming back, and the goal is to get the pelvis closer towards the ground. This is a major hip opener. When we open those hips, though, that helps with our knees. It helps with our ankle joints, and it helps with our entire spine. So meet yourself where you are with grace. Maybe not as wide. Wherever you are, find the breath and find the focus. Maybe a little mental strength today. I'm going to come a little bit lower on my forearms. I'm going to continue to draw the tailbone back and lengthen the spine as I try to get the pelvis closer towards the ground. With this pose, I'm promoting my physical health. My physical health, it kind of helps me manage my emotions. Helps with my outlook on life. We're going to stay here about 1 minute. Sink in a little bit lower. Feel the tailbone come back, spine come forward, pelvis closer towards the ground. And the exhale longer than the inhale. And gently come out of this pose. Walk the knees back, hands under the shoulders. Beautiful, guys. And we're going to explore some back bends today, Ustrasana. But first I'm going to adjust our sign here. That'll be the light sign. A message of yoga to be the light. Ustrasana camel. We've opened up our hips. We're ready to explore back bends at a little bit deeper level. As we stand on our knees, I want you to stand nice and tall and strong. Perhaps you're going to tuck the toes, makes it a little bit easier for some of you that want to find a little bit of like Satara Sukha, steady and at ease. Or you can just simply point those feet straight back. Right away as we stand tall on the knees, you kind of feel those inner thighs are actually spiraling back. We're going to press that tailbone down, and this symbolizes several things here. This symbolizes us making the back bend more in our upper and our middle back, and it also symbolizes the hips pressing forward. Press that tailbone down. Good. Gaze up and look up. Lead with the upper and the middle back as we compress the spine and open the chest and open the heart. Inhale and rise. Neck and head last. Hands by the heart. We're going to do this a few more times here, okay? We'll work our way into feeling a little bit more comfortable. This is so good for the spine. Standing tall on those knees. Either tuck the toes or you can point the feet straight back. Press that tailbone down, and I want you to roll the shoulders back. Gaze up and look up. With the support of the neck, gently lower the head. Lead with the upper and the middle back as we compress the spine. Hips come forward. Open the chest. Open the heart. Gently come back up, neck and head last. Let's touch on the power of the heart. Good. The power of the heart and compassion helps build upon mental strength. We're going to explore wherever we are. Some of you may be able to, again, it's all about opening the chest and the heart, and maybe come into a deeper where you place the hands on the soles of the feet. Press that tailbone down. Feel those inner thighs spiraling back. Gaze up and look up. Lead with the upper and the middle back here. Eventually, hands to the soles of the feet. Keep those hips pressing forward. And again, open the chest. Open the heart. Gently come back up. Hands to the lower back, neck and head last. Hands to the heart. Again, press that tailbone down. Gaze up, look up. Lead with the upper and the middle back. Hands to the soles of the feet, if we can, wherever we are. Thumbs on the outside of the feet, fingers on the inside. Open the chest, open the heart. Keep those hips pressing forward. Hands by the lower back. Neck and head come last. Beautiful. Let's neutralize the spine just a bit. Standing on the knees, I want us to all tuck our toes here. Draw that tailbone under, belly towards the spine. Draw those arms up. Create length in the spine. Good. Here we're neutralizing the spine. We're coming into a little hollow body hold here. Belly towards the spine, tailbone under. So we're like making a little front scoop here. We'll stay here several breaths. hands to the heart. Here we're going to explore another way to kind of counter those back bends, and we're going to explore puppy dog. And now we're going to take that thoracic, instead of compressing it, we're drawing length in the spine. You can either tuck the toes or point those feet straight back in the puppy dog pose, Anahatasana. It's really about getting those hips over the knees. We're going to walk those hands forward. Good. Keep the hips over the knees. I feel that tailbone is kind of out here. Good. Up and kind of out here. Eventually, we're going to draw the forehead. This is a shoulder opener. So this is a release of the shoulders, the chest, and the spine. Heart melting pose. Feel kind of the scapula move away from the spine, releasing the armpits. Eventually, you can get the chest closer and the chin towards the ground here. So the lower spine is lifted. The upper spine, we're melting and creating length, heart melting pose. We're going to stay here several breaths. Maybe you've taken my class a few times, or yoga comes a little more naturally, and you might want to tuck those toes. You're going to lift the knees. You're going to put more weight on the chest and the chin here as we lift those knees, straighten those legs. Good. Tailbone comes up. Heart is melting. Finding the breath. Beautiful heart melting pose. Stay here several breaths. Gently lower to the knees. Hands by the sides. I'm going to adjust these blocks just to make room for me to do a shoulder opener. I'm going to come on to the stomachs here, guys. Arms out by the sides. Let's just rest our forehead to the mat here and kind of draw the chin towards us just slightly, creating length in the cervical vertebrae. My legs are together. Good. Just resting here several breaths. Taking the left hand by the chest, we're going to explore a shoulder opener. Pressing into the right palm. I love this because we're kind of on the side body here. Good. Shoulder chest opener. Eventually, take that left hand behind. I like to kind of interlace my fingers. I'm keeping my head lifted in line with the spine here. Slightly lifted. Good. And feel the shoulders opening. Shoulder blades coming towards one another. It's okay to close those eyes and just reap the many benefits of this posture. Gently release. Lower the left hand. Good. Let's take the right hand by the chest here. Press into that left palm. Come on to that left side body. Good. Eventually, you feel that left chest opening. We swim that right arm back if we can, or we get close to it. The head is lifted in line with the spine here. We draw those palms together, interlace those fingers. Feel that release of the shoulders, of the neck. But also coming into the Parshva. This is a side version. Find the breath. Gently release. Coming into a wide-legged child's pose, we're going to transition. Take the hands by the chest. Here we go. We're going to come into a wide-legged child's pose. Widen the knees, big toes touching. Now we can send those hips back and walk those hands forward. So walk those hands forward, create length in the spine. Send those hips back. Let's rest the forehead towards the ground, and we're going to stay here, 10 breaths or so, where we inhale and exhale through the nose. Find the breath and just enjoy this posture to regenerate, promote spinal health, and reflect. Beautiful. Coming out of this pose, we're going to take our Shavasana. We got to treat our Shavasana on our stomachs. However we get comfortable in this pose, let's find our way to get nice and comfortable. I like to kind of interlace my fingers and rest my head on the fingers. And some of you might adjust however that helps you to kind of get comfortable. And if you want to come onto your backs, you can. But I'm encouraging you here to find your Shavasana and stay here a while. This is one of the tools promoting mental strength. Sometimes we have to find solitude. Solitude is a gift to find mental strength. We'll stay here as long as we need. Recognizing always the inner light in each one of us as we go out in this world and share our light, which is truly the message of Namaste. Truly the message of the body, mind, and spirit coming together. I'm going to encourage you guys to stay here 5-10 minutes, however long you need.